Okay, let's talk numbers for a sec. 390 million subscribers on just the main channel.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around that scale. More people than live in the U.S.
Exactly. And then you hear some of his videos cost, like, reportedly $1 million each to produce. It's just wild.
It really is.
Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive. We dig through all the info to pull out what really matters. And today, well, we're jumping right into the deep end with Mr. Beast. You know, the guy who basically invented the whole mega expensive YouTube stunt genre.
Uh-huh. It's a fascinating case study in like how content creation has just exploded. It's not just bigger budgets, it's understanding what grabs people online,
Yeah.
and then just amplifying that like crazy. He really changed the game on YouTube.
No question. And to really get a handle on this, we've been looking at quite a bit of material. There are a couple of biographical articles from the famous people. The Wikipedia page is pretty detailed, actually. And we've also got transcripts from 3 different YouTube deep dives. Colin and Samir's full story of Mr. Beast, Maranker's documentary, Who is Mr. Beast? And Sunny V2's take, the entire history of Mr. Beast, I guess. You know, his style.
Yeah, quite a range of perspectives there.
Right. So our mission here is basically to piece together, the key bits, how he got so huge, his actual strategies for making stuff go viral, the philanthropy side, which is massive, his businesses, and yeah, the controversies too. They kind of follow the territory, right?
Definitely comes with that level of fame.
We want to give you a really clear but, digestible overview of this whole phenomenon. So let's start from the start. Jimmy Donaldson. Where did it all kick off?
Well, it's interesting. Like a lot of these big online creators, he got into it really young. Born in Kansas, May 7th, 1998, but moved to Greenville, North Carolina. And he started his first YouTube channel when he was just, 12?
12.
Yeah. So he was basically learning the ropes as YouTube itself was figuring things out. Lots of hands-on time early on.
That makes sense. He opened the channel we know, Mr. Beast 6000, back in 2012. Started with Minecraft commentary, apparently.
Pretty standard fare for the time.
Yeah, but here's a fun little detail. He actually had another channel before that he, rage quit and deleted because he wasn't getting views, even though he was doing those sub-4-sub things.
Oh, yeah. Sub-4-sub. Trying to game the system a bit.
Right, trying to inflate the numbers so that drive, that kind of frustration with not getting noticed, it was there from the very beginning, it seems.
That really resonates, I think. That early grind, trying to get traction when the platform's so crowded. Lots of creators hit that wall.
So his early stuff was kind of all over the place. Gaming, sure, but also those videos, guessing how much other YouTubers were worth.
Uh-huh. And even tips for other creators. Trying different angles.
But the thing that first really seemed to, connect was that Worst Intros on YouTube series. That was around 2015, 2016. Why do you think that worked?
Good question. I think it tapped into something relatable within the YouTube community itself. Everyone had seen those awkward intros. It was funny, kind of meta.
Yeah, poking fun at the platform itself.
Exactly. A clever way to engage with people already watching YouTube.
Okay, then came the pivot, the move towards the expensive stunts. Started smallish, I guess, with things like $5 for hot girls to advertise your YouTube channel. But that was a definite shift, right?
Oh, absolutely. A crucial change. Moving away from just commentary and gaming into higher concept stuff, more visual, more inherently attention grabbing for a wider audience, not just gamers or YouTube nerds. Spectacle. Yeah. And then bang, counted to 100,000. January 2017. That's the one everyone points to, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first real viral explosion.
That is it, the launch pad.
And from there, it just escalated.
Yeah.
Spinning a fidget spinner for 24 hours, watching Jake Paul's It's Everyday Bro for 10 hours straight, which frankly sounds like actual torture.
Right, the endurance challenges. Buying a car with only pennies. Trying to fly with leaf blowers. Trying to stop a bullet with 100,000 bits of paper.
It's that pattern, isn't it? Taking a simple, almost dumb idea and just taking it to the absolute extreme. It makes you curious. You just have to see if he actually does it.
Totally. It cuts through the noise.
Big time.
So this spending, was it like a grandmaster plan from day one? Or did it just sort of happen?
The sources suggest it wasn't really super strategic at first. It was more about just wanting to make the videos better. He kept pouring the money he made back into the next video, make it bigger, make it cooler.
So quality first, profit later, or maybe not even thinking profit.
Yeah, seems like reinvestment was the main goal initially.
Which is interesting.
And as it all blew up, he brought his childhood friends in to help run the show. That kind of tells you how big it was getting fast.
Definitely. You can't do that scale solo. You need a team. And bringing in people you already trust, that makes sense when things are growing so quickly and getting complex. Okay, so the crazy ideas are one thing. But what about the strategy behind the content? How does he make things go viral so consistently? It can't just be luck.
No, definitely not luck. It seems really deliberate, almost scientific in a way. He talks about originality, sure, doing stuff that's, quote, something people really need to see, ideally never been done before.
That novelty factor.
Exactly. But then there's the whole optimization part, getting that click-through rate as high as possible.
Right. The titles and thumbnails.
Totally. Strategic topics, titles with numbers, big promises, 24 hours, challenge, and those super bright, clear thumbnails, they're designed to just pop off the page.
You really can spot them a mile away. It's a very distinct style.
And once you click, it's all about keeping you there. Retention.
Fast editing.
Super fast editing, yeah.
Yeah.
Hooking you in the first few seconds, always promising some big payoff or finale at the end. And the length, usually 10 to 30 minutes, feels kind of optimized too. Long enough for substance, short enough to hold attention.
It's like he reverse engineered the YouTube algorithm, or at least deeply understands it.
To a huge degree, yeah.
Mm.
He gets what keeps people watching.
Yeah.
And he puts the time in. He's mentioned spending way more time just thinking and planning ideas than maybe others do. Like Ting Trees. That apparently took half a year of just grinding on the concept.
Half a year. Wow, that puts a different perspective on it. It's not just throwing money around, it's serious planning.
Seems that way.
Okay, so beyond the main channel, he's built this whole ecosystem, right? Other channels.
Yeah, quite a few now. There's the main Mr. Beast one. Then Mr. Beast Shorts, which is now called Mr. Beast 2, shorter stuff, obviously. Beast Philanthropy, which is purely for the charity work.
Right.
Mr. Beast Gaming, self-explanatory. And Beast Reacts, which used to be Beast Hacks, doing reaction videos.
So different channels for different flavors of content. What's the strategy there? Why not just put it all on the main one?
Yeah. The gaming and reaction channels, for example, are generally cheaper to produce than the massive stunts on the main channel. So they bring in their own ad money, their own sponsorships, and that revenue can actually help, fund the really expensive main channel videos. It makes the whole operation more sustainable.
That's pretty smart. A diversified portfolio, YouTube style.
Kinda, yeah.
Speaking of funding, where does all the money come from for these million-dollar productions? We mentioned reinvesting, but the scale now.
The two big pillars are sponsorships. You see the brand integrations in the videos and Google AdSense, the money YouTube pays based on views. As his views went stratospheric, those income streams just exploded too.
So it becomes this, like, self-feeding machine.
Exactly. Viral videos mean more views, means more AdSense money, means more attractive to big sponsors.
Which means more money to make even bigger videos.
Which get even more views, and so on. It's a powerful cycle once it gets going.
But it's not just video revenue, right? He's got other businesses. Merchandise, obviously.
Yeah, merch is standard for big creators. T-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing. But then he went much bigger. Mr. Beast Burger.
Right, the ghost kitchen thing. That seemed like a huge launch, but then kind of hit some bumps.
It did. Huge initial buzz, using his audience for instant scale.
Okay.
But then came the complaints, lots of them, about food quality, consistency. It got pretty negative. There were even lawsuits about, like, inedible food being served.
Ooh.
Yeah. He himself eventually called it basically a mistake, seemed to regret it, and wanted to shut it down or focus elsewhere. Quality control is tough with that model.
Maybe Feastables, the chocolate bars. Launched with those big Willy Wonka-style giveaways.
Yeah, classic Mr. Beast marketing. Generate hype with massive prizes. That got Feastables off to a fast start. They even got that NBA jersey patch deal with the Charlotte Hornets.
That's a big mainstream move.
Huge visibility. But that also had its issues. Some fans weren't happy when it looked like he was asking them to basically fix store displays for him.
Oh, I remember that. A bit of backlash.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And that Hornets deal ended in July 2024.
More recently, there was Lunchly, snack kits with KSI and Logan Paul, marketed as healthier.
Right, taking on Lunchables. But that faced criticism almost immediately. Questions about the nutritional claims versus competitors.
Okay.
And then, more worryingly, those pictures started popping up online showing what looked like mold on some of the products. Major food safety concerns there. It really highlights how tricky physical products and distribution can be.
Definitely a different ball game than YouTube videos.
Yeah.
He's also invested in tech, right? Backbone.
Yeah, Backbone makes those gaming controllers for phones. That fits more closely with his gaming audience. Maybe see some synergy there.
Makes sense. And partnerships with Current, the fintech company. An educational thing with East Carolina University.
Branching out. spreading the brand.
He even popped up on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. That was an interesting crossover.
Yeah, dipping his toes into more traditional TV formats.
And now he's co-writing a novel with James Patterson. The James Patterson.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant leap. Exploring totally different creative avenues, reaching potentially a different audience.
And of course, the big one recently, Beast Games on Amazon Prime Video. The viewership was insane, wasn't it?
Absolutely huge. Prime Video's biggest unscripted launch ever, apparently. 50 million viewers in, like, 25 days. Just staggering numbers.
But then he called the $100 million deal a poor financial decision, said he lost money on it.
Pretty blunt assessment, right?
Yeah.
It just shows the colossal costs involved in making those huge reality competition shows. Even with massive viewership, profitability isn't guaranteed, even for MrBeast.
Wow. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. A huge part of the MrBeast brand, maybe the defining part for some people, is the philanthropy.
Absolutely. That blend of extreme entertainment and, like, genuine seeming generosity is key to his image.
It started early, right? Like that video giving a random homeless man $10,000, that got a lot of attention.
It did. And interestingly, that one was sponsored by an app called Quid. So early on, he was already linking sponsorships to charitable giving. He also did those donations to random Twitch streamers, building that reputation.
Then came the massive ones. Hashtag Team Trees. That was huge.
Monumental, really. A collaboration with Mark Rober. The goal was $20 million for the Arbor Day Foundation to plant 20 million trees.
And they smashed it, right?
Totally surpassed it.
Okay.
Over 24.8 million trees planted by March 2025. Got huge donations from people like Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey. It showed the power of mobilizing that online audience for a cause.
Incredible. And they followed it up with hashtag Team Seas.
Yeah, same idea, basically.
Yeah.
Partnered with Mark Rober again, aiming for $30 million to clean up oceans and rivers.
Yeah.
Partnered with Ocean Conservancy, the ocean cleanup.
And did that hit the goal too?
Yep. Raised over $34 million by February 2025. Another massive success.
And he spun this off into its own channel, Beast Philanthropy. How does that work?
The whole premise of that channel is that 100% of its revenue, ads, sponsors, merch goes directly to charity.
Wow, 100%.
That's the claim. And the projects are pretty amazing, giving away thousands of turkeys, tens of thousands of shoes in Africa, building 100 wells for clean water, donating tech to schools, funding surgeries for sight, hearing, mobility. Thousands of people helped.
The scale of the giving is undeniable. Okay, but with great fame comes, well, controversy. And MrBeast has certainly had his share. Let's unpack some of that.
Yeah, it's unavoidable at that level.
Yeah.
One recurring theme has been about working conditions.
Right. Allegations from former employees.
People like Matt Turner, Nate Anderson, they've described it as a really tough environment. Allegations of being berated, unreasonable demands, not getting credit for their work, that kind of thing.
How has MrBeast responded to that?
He's acknowledged that, yeah, the standards are incredibly high, it's demanding work, but he's pushed back against the idea that it's like a toxic or abusive place. High standards, yes. Toxic, no. That's basically his stance.
And back in 2018, there was that YouTuber FlyDoseYT accusing him of faking videos.
Yeah, the accusation was that some of the giveaways or stunts were staged.
Yeah.
MrBeast denied it. He actually brought up his Crohn's disease as a reason he sometimes needed help from his crew during shoots, which he suggested might have been misinterpreted by critics.
Okay. More recently, and much more seriously, were the allegations surrounding Ava Chris Tyson, who used to be Chris Tyson, that led to them being removed from the brand.
Yeah, those were extremely serious allegations involving alleged sexual misconduct with minors. Tyson strongly denied any wrongdoing, saying comments were just, edgy jokes.
Right.
It got complicated. One alleged victim reportedly denied it, then recanted again. An independent investigation was done.
Right.
And that investigation concluded the allegations were baseless. But still, a very difficult situation.
Then, just last year, July 2024, another former employee, Dogpack404, came out with a whole raft of accusations.
A lot of claims there. Rigged contests, illegal lotteries, faking videos, faking signatures, misleading fans.
Yeah.
Plus more allegations about poor working conditions. Another former employee, Jake Weddle, mentioned sleep deprivation specifically.
Wow. Anything else?
Yeah, really serious stuff.
Yeah.
Claimed the company hired a registered sex offender known as Delaware, and also alleged there were complaints about sexual assault by a cameraman that weren't properly handled. Very damaging allegations.
Heady stuff. And the Beast Games show, the Amazon one, that ended up in court too.
Yeah, class action lawsuit from former contestants. They alleged mistreatment during filming, sexual harassment, not being paid expenses or wages they were promised, and also claimed the contracts they signed were illegal, designed just to get Nevada tax breaks for the production.
So legal battles on multiple fronts. And even travel caused issues. The Mayan ruins thing.
Yeah. May 2025. Apparently, they did an unauthorized tour, filmed it, and Mexican authorities weren't happy. Threatened legal action. Shows how careful you have to be operating globally, especially around sensitive sites.
It's definitely a complex picture. Okay, stepping back from the controversies for a moment. What about Jimmy Donaldson, the person? He calls himself an introvert. That might surprise people.
It does seem like a contrast, right? This huge public figure being introverted. His mom apparently said his childhood, moving around a lot, plus dealing with Crohn's disease, might have contributed to him being more withdrawn personally.
Interesting. We know about his relationships, dated Maddie Spadell for a while, now engaged to Thea Buisen, who's also a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
And he made that claim, which got a lot of buzz, that he was invited onto that Ocean Gate sub, the one that imploded. But turned it down.
Yeah, that definitely generated headlines, little glimpses into his life outside the YouTube bubble.
Politically, he says he tries to stay out of it. Apolitical, why do you think that is?
Well, with an audience that massive, that global, taking a strong political stance could alienate like half your viewers overnight, potentially impact sponsorships, charity goals, everything. So staying neutral is probably the safer business decision.
Makes sense, but it gets a bit blurry, doesn't it? He's known to be friends with Logan and Jake Paul, who are politically active, endorsed Trump. He's a fan of Elon Musk. He's constantly wading into politics.
Right, so his personal connections maybe suggest certain leanings, even if he doesn't state them publicly. And he has floated the idea of running for president himself someday. So apolitical for now, perhaps.
Interesting thought. What about on LGBTQ issues? There seems to have been a shift there.
Yeah, quite a significant one based on what's reported. He apparently used to hold views more aligned with conservative Christianity, opposing homosexuality. But he now identifies as an agnostic theist, moved away from that, and specifically disavows anti-LGBTQ views.
Okay.
He also publicly defended Ava Chris Tyson against transphobic attacks when she transitioned, which is a big change from his teenage years, when he apparently used homophobic slurs on Twitter posts he later deleted and apologized for.
So a public evolution on that front. Seems like personal growth, maybe.
Appears that way.
So final personal detail. What does Mr. Beast actually watch or consume for fun or inspiration? Someone who makes content constantly.
Apparently, he's a big anime fan, finds it creative, and he also just consumes a ton of educational content. Seems like he's always learning, always looking for that next idea or a better way to do things.
Always learning. And the scale he operates at now, that detail about his new studio. First video shot there needed 50 cameras and 100 people.
Mind-boggling, isn't it? The logistics alone.
Totally. So bringing it all together, the recognition, the impact, he's clearly not just some flash in the pan.
Oh, far from it. He's a dominant force. Look at the awards. Multiple Streamy Awards for Creator of the Year, Shorty Award, Forbes 30 Under 30, Time 100, Most Influential People.
Guinness World Records, too, right?
Yeah.
Most subs, fastest sub growth.
Yeah, highest earning YouTuber, fastest to 1 million on Threads for a bit there. The records just kept falling.
And overtaking PewDiePie as the most subscribed individual creator channel. That felt like a real moment.
Huge moment. Kind of symbolized a shift in YouTube culture, maybe. He's just synonymous now with that super high production, fast-paced, challenge-based content. He really pioneered that over-the-top style.
And influenced countless others, though, as we heard, maybe not always successfully for those trying to copy the spending.
Right. It's a tough model to replicate if you don't have his existing scale and revenue streams.
He's famously said attention is the most valuable currency. Can't argue with his success in accumulating it.
No, in today's attention economy, he's arguably one of the wealthiest people on the planet in that specific currency.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. Mr. Beast's story. It's this arc from a kid messing around on YouTube to, well, a global media powerhouse. It's defined by relentless experimentation, right? Always pushing boundaries.
Definitely. And that willingness to pour everything back into the content on a scale nobody had really seen before. Plus, just an incredible knack for understanding what makes people click, what keeps them watching.
But it's also this complex mix, isn't it? Massive, impactful philanthropy on one hand.
Yeah, undeniably huge positive impact there.
And then this growing list of controversies, criticisms, lawsuits on the other. It all comes with that intense spotlight.
It does. And for you listening, what parts of this whole story really stick with you? Is it the sheer ambition, the drive for constant growth? Is it the charity work, and maybe the questions around charity porn that sometimes come up?
Or is it the ethical side of the entertainment? The working conditions stuff, the business ventures, successes, and failures. It's a lot to unpack.
It really is.
So here's a final thought we want to leave you with. He claims political neutrality, but his connections are interesting. And his influence is just undeniable, reaching hundreds of millions. How might that role evolve?
Can someone with that much attention, that much sway, truly stay apolitical in the long run? Especially if he does ever consider running for office.
And what responsibilities come with that level of influence today? Whether he acknowledges them or not, something to think about long after we finish up here.